About time you fucking got to the studio.
Ladies
You
and
came to hostile
gentlemen, it's time to listen up to Menace's Mike Podcast. We rollin'! Yeah!
What's going on, world? Another episode of Menace's Mike coming at you. Myself, Michael the Menace Johnson. This light-skinned fool next to me, G. Jones, legendary.
What up,
Oh, shit.
y'all?
I got two light-skinned motherfuckers next to me. I didn't even realize. And on his left, the legend, Jordan Oliver, two-time NCAA champ.
Two-time.
I'm saying three. I'm saying three. In my
That's what I
book.
said, three. Yeah. List your
In my book.
credentials for me, dog, because I was trying to look them up. That might be too many.
Oh shit.
When we starting?
Ooh, shit, from birth. Man, what you done?
Oh man, I got 7 Eastern National titles, 7 East Penn League titles, 2 PJW Junior Pennsylvania State titles.
That's it?
I only went twice. 2 Fargo titles, only went twice. 1 cadet, 1 junior. 3-time PA State champ, 4-time finalist, 4-time district champ, 4-time regional champ, 4-time Big 12 champ, and 4-time All-American, 2-time national champ.
No world. Any
Oh, boy.
worlds?
Well,
little
national
bit.
team member, I can't even count how many times.
Oh,
and
boy came out to
Olympic
flex
team
today,
member.
didn't he?
Flex,
You gave him the
didn't
opportunity
you?
to
I gave
flex.
him
He
the
took it.
opportunity.
He took it.
And
Right, you
now,
wanted to know
Bellator fighter, April 16th,
April 19th.
April 19th is the date for Jordan Oliver to go 2-0 in the MMA cage. Guys, let me hear you talk about the change in from, you got to change your mindset from a whole wrestling background to now MMA. How's that feeling in your mind? I know
Or
we
do
work
you?
a lot, or do you? Yeah.
I don't know if it changes. I mean, the crafts and you know what you need to submerge in and learn needs to change, and the direction of, you know, the classes that you need to really submerge and learn these different crafts, not just wrestling. But the mindset's the same. You know, at the end of the day, wrestling has taught us so much of, even if the other guy's more skilled than you, it's a dog-eat-dog world. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm going to break his will. But, you know, leading into MMA training, it's, you know, have that same mentality, even though some of these guys are a little bit more experienced in different areas. Remember what I bring to the table, right? And that's, you know, stick to my wrestling. You guys tell me it every day, but
Every day I tell you.
yeah, after getting punched a couple times, but
Hey, check this out, though. Check this out. It's funny how the world works and how small the world is, right? I recruited Jordan's older brother to West Virginia University to wrestle. On his visit, he brought little Jordy along with him. He had to be, well, how old was you, Jordan? You 6, 7, 8? Nah, he's older than that.
I want to say 12.
He was 12 years old, and then
Damn,
just
we're
kind
high
of how
school.
that's kind of how life works. Is 2 decades later, no, a decade later, here we are with you making the transition. But for those of you who don't know, I'll be a little bit less modest than Jordan was. In his formidable years, Jordan Oliver is still considered one of the best wrestlers to come out what many consider the best wrestling state in the country is Pennsylvania. Talk about that. Let me hear you talk about the growing up in the Lehigh Valley, what wrestling means to the folks up there, and how important it is or difficult.
You see this shirt?
Ooh,
I
cowboy,
I know there's
cowboy
a cowboy
up.
on it. I know there's
Cowboys.
a cowboy on it, but you know,
Is
wrestling.
that a Mexican cowboy?
Baby.
Stop
Yeah, he
playing.
looks
Maybe.
Mexican.
Pistol Pete. You say that,
You know the blacks were the first cowboys ever, right?
you know you're gonna upset some Oklahoma people.
I
saying
just
something
want
like
I just want to tell you that the blacks was the
OSU
first
people.
cowboys.
Hey, it's on you if history upsets you, dog.
But go ahead to what y'all
But,
talking about, my man.
Listen, you know, I didn't even know how blessed I was to be able to grow up in the area of wrestling that I did. And it's crazy because people come up to me now and they're like, hey, what tournaments did you go to? What camps did you do? And for me, I'm like, well, where I came from, necessarily didn't have the funds to do all the camps and all the tournaments. More so, I was outside playing block chase and pick up basketball, and I was just a normal kid. But going to practice and competing in the Lehigh Valley District 11, where I'm from, then I come to realize once I got away and went to college, how rich the sport of wrestling really is. Just in that area alone, D11, right? We used to watch guys not even returning state champs, not even making out the districts to go to regionals.
Right.
Right. So I think that is what kind of propelled me to be, not only having my older brother, but propelled me to be that competitive and have that dog in me to want to win. I grew up watching, Jamar Billman.
Well, hold on right there. I was getting ready to say the same thing. Jamar Billman was my very first wrestling hero. We came out to the Lehigh Valley to wrestle in the Bethlehem Christmas duels. I don't know if they still do that.
They do.
But I think they moved to Becca High. Well, regardless, it was the first time you go to the tournament and local families housed us. So,
cool.
I mean, to be straight up, they did take us to a little house party the night before the tournament. But that 1996 or 97 team, who was it?
96, 97.
Yeah, that 96 team, Jamar Billman, Brian Snyder, Chris Kelly, Willie Saylor. Who else? What's one or two other names on that list?
Man, you could put Chisuli, Andy Chisuli.
Yeah, no, I remember all those guys.
Root.
Yeah, there was all kind of rovers on the podium.
There was,
Do you remember that run from 103 up through to like 30, 35?
I do. It was Willie Saylor, Chris Kelly, Gary Root.
Yeah, Gary Root with the nose, right?
Yep. And then you
Sounds
had
like a name of a guy with a nose. Gary Root.
My dog had a
You
beak
gotta
on him.
have a nose
My
on him.
dog had a beak on him.
Last name
dude
like
was a
that.
scrapper though.
Yeah.
Only Easton people would know that name in Pennsylvania wrestling, but he was a scrapper. And then it went, I believe it went Billman. Either it was Billman or Snyder, and then it was Billman or Snyder, or I might be missing somebody in there.
There's one more name in there. Anyway, in my mind, that was like the legendary team. When we went out to that duel, I had an older cousin. I have an older cousin. He was 2 years older than me on the same team. And I was, you know how it was as a freshman 103-pounder. You're a boy.
Yeah.
You're a boy. So my cousin that wrestled 152 was like, he's my big cousin. You know what I mean? It's my dog. And boy, he went out there and Billman packed him in about 19 seconds. And I was like, oh my God, that guy is a superhero. Yep, mixed them up. Yep.
Yeah. Dude has the number. He has the fastest pin in Pennsylvania States to this day.
Yeah.
The dang cement mixer.
Oh, I remember that too. Yeah.
That was the only team, actually. That was the only team ever, public team, to beat Blair head to head and take the number one ranking. They got ranked number one that year. So that's like huge deal. But I was in like 4th, 5th grade, I want to say, and I was going to practice with those guys.
Yeah.
Right? I was getting invited. So it's just cool because I grew up watching Billman and Snyder, being coached by Snyder's dad. And, and long story short,
Legendary
small
coach.
world.
Yeah.
And not to blow your head up, but you're one of my favorite wrestlers, right? I watched.
Thank you.
Okay. Light skins. Gotta stick together. But I watched you and the movement, and even when you recruited Josh, you kind of knew me, but I'm like, these guys are legends to me. So the whole process, just growing up in Easton and just even being able to tag along with my brother to meet coaches like yourself and wrestlers and Zeke Jones, it just opened up the world of wrestling to me.
That's very relatable. That's very relatable to me because for me personally, I didn't even know any. We knew about Dan Gable at the University of Iowa in college wrestling because that's all we knew. That's all we saw. Gable won 12 straight national tournaments, but I didn't have any idea who they wrestled against. I didn't know it was universities, small town kid.
Right.
Until my brother got recruited, and I was like, "Oh, you can really do something with this and like go somewhere." That's the first that opened up because I'm from a similar area too in Western Pennsylvania, which again very fortunate. But
How are the good wrestlers coming from that area? Like I was growing up, I always thought it was like a Midwest thing. Was like the big wrestlers, like the Iowas and the Iowa States, and then like started hearing like Pennsylvania. I'm like, that's where all the good
Yeah.
wrestlers came from, like Jersey and Pennsylvania. And
Well, you got
everywhere.
that belt. You got Jersey, PA, Ohio, in my opinion. You add California in there, but in my opinion, Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, that's your wrestling country. I would argue, before I steer Jordan, I would argue it's probably cultural.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's a little bit of overlap too. A lot of people probably have the misconception that it comes from that little Midwest area because you have the Iowas, the
Right.
Oklahoma States. You have some of the biggest schools in
That's where all
history
the
that are
PA
winning
kids are
titles.
But there's no volume.
Yeah.
And at the time, before Penn State had Cale Sanderson, right? Even me as a Penn State kid, like when you're getting recruited, you're looking,
You want
you
to
know,
go
where
where
to
Cal
go.
is.
I wanted to go to Penn State. But at the time, the coach and
Well, I was
staff
going to ask about this. Yeah.
didn't suit me, right?
Sutherland?
Sutherland, yes.
Yeah,
But I was
and-
going up there and just knowing me, I needed a coach that would crack the whip on me, right? And I went and it was Cale's first year coaching, so he was recruiting me to Iowa State. But he couldn't tell me he had signed an NDA that he was going to Penn State because if he would have told me, there could have been a possible chance I might have ended up and stayed home. But I made the greatest decision of my life to go wrestle for the Cowboys.
You were heavily considering Iowa State with him there?
That was my second school.
Okay.
So
So you're always Oklahoma State, and Cal was just kind of like out there.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it was Oklahoma State, Iowa State, and then when you wanted to talk about like schools just having fun, Ohio State got in there.
Yeah.
Because they were really great at the time.
Right.
Number 2, they brought us there, and not only did they show us good wrestling, but they were kind of the
Is that when Tom Ryan just about started there, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And they were kind of the front runner of putting in the new wrestling room and getting the nice gear. You came out with the white
So why Oklahoma State?
Singlets.
Who's there? Why Oklahoma State?
John Smith.
That's what I figured. I was trying to think of his name.
The best, and I love you, JB. The best American wrestling to ever do it, right? 6 world titles, back to back to back to back. The dude retired at 26. For 6 years, he won 4 world titles and 2
Crazy.
Olympic
Turned
golds.
26,
As-
just said,
as,
I'm too good.
What's
He
that?
was just like, I'm too good. Like I'm done. Can't nobody fucking do nothing.
Well, I think
Like,
It was like, what else you
What
want
else
from
could
me?
I do?
What
Yeah.
else you want from me, right?
right. What was really impressive is he got when he was making his '92 run to win the Olympics, right? He just graduated. Chesborough had gotten fired. NCAA rules, which Chesborough had
It was
gotten
him
fired.
and Joe Sade back then doing some shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, out of everything going on, John and then Kenny Monday, but they were put in front, right? So John is, while he's training to win the Olympics, he's training a college team for his second year ever.
at the same time.
At the same time,
Yeah.
he's training to win the Olympics.
Tell me, not just tell me, tell everyone. I agree. John Smith. It was John Smith was the first American wrestler with a shoe. Perhaps.
I want to say,
I remember
He's the first one to go over there and beat
I don't
all the
remember.
guys.
Hey, do me a favor. Pull up the John Smith wrestling singlet. I like that old
Oh, the
90s
old
style
school, the
shit
low
with the
side?
low
Yeah, I
cut
like
and
that
shit
low-
like
I was
that.
like, damn, we should have some shit like that, right?
But what?
I was like, you got to be good to wear some shit like that, bro. Like,
You better be with
yeah,
the ass
for
cheek
sure,
hanging
right?
out.
that was just a cut.
Motherfucker was like, I'm too good, bro. I wear whatever I want.
I see it. But what made John so special as a coach? We all know about his wrestling, but just interpersonal skills and why was he a good fit for you?
You know, you can go through the technique, right? He's the
Everyone
best
knows technique.
technical. But when I talk to you about he could have a guy ready, mentally ready, not even physically. The guy could just show up, but he could tap into someone's mind and make them believe that they could beat anybody in the world. It didn't matter of the preparation of what happened. He was able to tap into your mind. And once he was able to tap into your mind, he always told you, you know, whatever your mind conceives, your body will follow. Right? So kind of, you know, he was able to train guys to be mentally prepared. And I think that's, you know, the majority of the fighting. MMA, wrestling, whatever sport you want to get into, I think the hardest battle is the mental preparation and the mental
I agree.
stability
I agree.
through it. So
I don't have a ton of experience with John, but one thing that there's actually a couple things. John didn't, at least around me, he don't use a lot of words. So every time he would open his mouth, it was always very impactful for me. You know what I mean? But whenever I was, my freshman year, whenever I was warming up for my NCAA championship match in the back room, they have a mat section out, and I was back there warming up, drilling, whatever. I don't even think I was with a coach. But one thing that snuck out to me was like, there was a chair over there. John was walking by. He went and got the chair. He jugged it over, sat it beside the mat, and sat there and watched me warm up for my national championship match. I was like, kind of drilling, like, damn, that's John Smith there, man. I must be doing all right here. I must be doing some shit. You know what I mean? Right. And it struck me, because Zeke was my coach. And then I was like, wait a minute. After that, I was thinking about that. I was like, hold on, though. I need to appreciate Zeke a little bit more, too. If I feel that way about John, Zeke's kind of in that conversation as well. Yeah. So it's just so we're so lucky to just be surrounded by the amount of coaches, the types of coaches we had. Me personally, I don't think that I could have succeeded at the level I did at very many other places under many people. And not that I was high maintenance. I don't know. I just found the right fit. And that's very important for you high school athletes out there.
And that's kind of same with me with John. I knew John was kind of going to control me and help me in the room, but he was somebody that could help me and mold me outside the room. He knew me as a person. He took the time he takes the time to know his athletes as a person. Yeah. And obviously not every single athlete's the same. So you have to coordinate and maneuver a little bit different with every athlete. So he does a real good job of getting personal, but knowing his athletes.
And still keeping your core principles intact. Yeah.
You still coaching?
Yeah.
Head coach
Speaking of such, what kind of the Cowboys are having a season, huh?
They are.
Yeah, tell us about it. How's the Cowboys? They made a little coaching adjustment late in the game this year, right?
Yep.
They bought the old fellow Cowboy back home.
Coleman.
And they climbed number 2 in the country, is that right?
Number 2. They just wrestled Iowa, which was number 3, big duel. And Iowa had beat them. So they're probably number 3 going into the NCAAs. But, look back 1 year ago, they weren't in the top 15.
This is a good time for wrestling. Do y'all feel
March Madness coming up, baby? We in it.
That time. Do y'all feel like, and I've seen it, like the shift, like wrestling has gotten more popular, more of like eyes, more kind of mainstream almost. Like when I was in high school, I wrestled a year in JUCO, and y'all don't know nothing about that, but I did that. It wasn't really it wasn't as like popular or heavy. Like you wouldn't flip it on the channel and see it on ESPN because they weren't showing it. Right. Now they're starting to show dual matches, and now NCAAs are all over the place. Do y'all think that y'all can see like the switch is coming to a more popular sport now? And why do you think the reason for that is?
Well, first and foremost, UFC. Right? UFC is such a huge sport. Wrestling is the original, one of the biggest sports. But now with UFC and all of the wrestlers that are successful in the UFC, and also giving props to wrestling and giving props back to their roots. But now you have UFC and Fight Pass putting on wrestling matches and wrestling duels.
That's so awesome, isn't it?
I
think it's more. I think it's wrestling's more accessible these days.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's it. If you want to base popularity off of participation, then absolutely. Wrestling's booming right now. They just added women's wrestling across high school and colleges in several states. And I think what we see is back to the question you asked before, that you have guys like the Brian Snyders, the Jamar Billmans, and people like that are graduating college and then moving back and still enriching that already rich wrestling area. And I think things are just built out from there. But I would also argue that a big reason for that is whenever Cale Sanderson went to Penn State, he changed wrestling. That one decision
Penn
changed
State
wrestling.
blew up since when he got there.
Yeah, it wasn't
just out
necessarily
of nowhere.
It wasn't necessarily they blew up, but it was the style of wrestling and the manner in which they were winning.
They were killing people.
Right.
Like,
They were
David
splitting the
Taylor
score
was-
on everybody.
Yeah, he was pinning everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, how's he pinning everybody in a national title run? Like, he was pinning everybody
No, it's
all the way up
crazy.
to the finals. Like, God damn.
And
man.
then I think what happened is that forces other teams to catch up with a different brand and a different
Yeah.
style of wrestling. Iowa had to start scoring more points. They couldn't just hand fight and win 5-2. So I think that kind of just matriculated out, and because it also made it, they score more points, you make it more fan friendly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
People want to
watch.
see excitement. People
Right.
don't want to
They
come
wanna
to
see
wrestling matches.
excitement,
Yeah.
and they want to see good fights or matches, or they want to see a good execution of skill, and that's what Penn State brought to the table. Well, they still do bring it to the table, but more so back then, I think.
Yeah.
On top of where are they located?
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania. So now you're getting 2 blue chip recruits for the price.
Yeah. And I guess social media too would have to
Yeah,
play a
it's
big
accessibility.
play
Yeah.
into it because like I said when I was coming up, we didn't have Instagram where I could flip on and see some crazy wrestling duel out of nowhere that I didn't happen to see. Like Flow Wrestling's got it on all the time. Like even when you first came down
I
to
was
the
gonna
gym.
say. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Now,
Good,
when
good.
did you first come down? Like 2 years ago?
I just got here.
Just got here, bro.
February. 1
February?
year. I'm not even at a year yet.
Really? Fucking
No,
fighting,
I think
fucking make me
I
old,
think he's
boy.
at the forefront. I think he's at the forefront of what we're talking.
Worlds were going on
Yeah.
or something when you first came in. Did you had just finished wrestling somewhere? Because I remember I was watching you wrestling.
I just got done with trials.
Yeah, that's what I was watching. I was like, man, that little motherfucker fucking wrestler. I was like, maybe I need to go in the gym and start wrestling more. And then I walked past you and I'm like, hold up. I'm like, nah, that ain't this dude. No way. And then I walk past, I'm like, I keep looking, I'm like, is that really? Like, I don't get like starstruck, but I was
Sizing
like,
him up?
but I
Oh,
didn't get starstruck. I was like, damn, because I was a fan before. I was like, this motherfucker is legit. Like, he's one of the
he
best
can go.
wrestlers I've seen. Yeah. So for me to say that, and then like 2-3 days later, I walk in the gym and he's just standing in front of me. I kept walking by. I'm like, nah, I ain't him. And then he walked up.
I'll put palm on him.
And then he goes, yo, Michael Jordan, I'm a fan of yours. I was like, I looked at him like, huh, bro, you Jordan? He's like, yeah, that's me. I'm like, bro, I'm a fucking fan of yours, bro. Like, I had no idea that was you. I just had to keep looking. So,
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, you looking at me. I walked in the
He's
gym.
sizing him up, man.
Right,
I'm
it's
putting
sizing
him
each other
up.
up.
Dude,
Yeah,
man,
I was like, bro,
I'm gonna stay long on this
I
one.
know, right? I was
Stay
like, bro, I just got done watching this dude. Like, I was just saying, I need a wrestler like this motherfucker, boy. Ain't nobody fucking with me.
But to your social media point, like I said, he's at that age. How old are you?
33.
Yeah, I feel like you're at that age where the world started to really shift.
Yeah.
You had all these different wrestling platforms starting to blossom up. Because I tell you what, we was talking about the gym today. These young kids are getting so good at such a young age anymore. It's really astounding how good some of these youth athletes are.
Yeah,
and like I said, like it's kind of around when you were coming through. Whenever I feel like I started to see that.
Yeah, is that why you see some of these high school kids beating like national champs or guys that won a national title? Maybe they go into a little dual match and they get beat by a high school kid.
It's like it's continuously evolving. Like even when I got to college and John was letting some of the athletes do some of the technique just because, and this is credit to John. John would get to a situation in practice that he wanted to do technique over and be like, listen, wrestling's involved, guys. So he'd take somebody that's really good and put his 2 cents in, but kind of let the guys that knew, the evolution of the scrambling to teach the scrambles, right?
That's coming from a good coach's mind.
That says something about his style of leadership too, right?
So even him being able to do that, like right there gives you a point of view that wrestling's continuously evolving.
Yeah.
Right? I'm teaching kids now things that I didn't learn until I was
It's crazy.
halfway through college, finishing college, and these kids are picking it up and executing it the next week you teach them. You're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Right? I see some of these kids and I'm like, I was so good in high school, and then I go back and I watch some of the high school wrestling now.
They're doing crazy shit. They're doing
Kids
shit
will
that
kick
people
my
do in
ass.
college.
Yeah, I'm like, these kids would have kicked my ass. Now,
Yes
mentality
and no.
wise,
Yes and no. You would have adjusted had you been in that era for
Right,
sure.
right.
But yeah.
I would have got the same, resources and been able to evolve as well. But nowadays, you have so much access to different resources, media, and flow wrestling.
They
things
can
like
learn
that.
a
It's
lot
that little
more.
kid on YouTube in his
Yeah.
garage. These are the motherfuckers you gotta look out
Yeah,
for.
that's just
you
sitting
know
there
what I mean?
drilling for an hour and
Yeah,
showing super.
it's that 14-year-old kid that just is just plugged into all of it,
Yeah.
you know. And obviously there's
Shit
some
that
coaching
we didn't
and
have
guide,
access
right.
to.
This
Like,
coaching comes in somewhere.
Yeah. It's like I can't watch YouTube. I gotta drive 2 hours.
You feel me?
To listen to this dude
You
tell
know?
me for an hour.
Shit, you gotta
about
drive
something.
2 hours. I had to walk downstairs, and boy, that shit was not fun. And we had about 3 moves. You feel me? It was just what you did. It's how you did it. And we went
so
hard.
you said the game of wrestling is evolving, just like MMA. It's always evolving, but we talk about this a lot too. I still think the basics beat all that other
Always,
shit.
always,
Is
always,
that the
always.
same case you see in wrestling? Like, well, just fuck the fancy stupid shit. Straight double, straight single, straight sprawl, whatever. Stick to those basics. You'll beat all that craziness.
Fundamentals. And I think, sorry, you were asking him, but I think that's more relevant in MMA.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the way I approach you guys a lot, that my primary goal is to raise the bar of the whole gym's wrestling baseline. In a lot of ways, in a sense, that's good enough.
Yeah.
If you can just have a wrestling foundation and know how to move, read, and react like a wrestler does, you'll be fine. Keep your hands up. Right?
Yeah, that's the point.
You know? But fundamentals always, right? Fundamentals are king.
Yeah, even in wrestling, like you see, and I take it from myself just because I like to use myself as an example, but we can go down the line, right? Thomas Gilman or Spencer Lee or Jordan Burroughs or Kyle Dake, right? When we're all training, getting ready for the worlds, the highest level to go win the biggest tournament, we're working on our position and our footwork.
Yeah, the simple shit.
Stance of motion.
And
That was you that said that.
Yeah.
Right? One thing, John, and this was on my senior level, and I didn't win. I didn't break through to make the team. I was on national team. I went back to Okie State. I sat down with John. John's like, "Listen here, you dumb shit."
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that. I know.
Listen here, you dumb shit. What got you? What got you to the show? What had made you successful? What's your number one score? Single leg. So what the hell are you trying to do? All these ducks, picks, misdirections.
At
He's
this
like-
time.
Yeah.
It's like you're flooding your mind.
Right.
Listen, go attack your single leg, and if you can't get it, figure out a way to put your damn opponent in a position to get to your single leg.
Wisdom.
And all of a sudden, I started winning matches on the
You're like,
senior
"No
level
shit,
and
Jordan."
making the team. He's like, look at this.
Go back to your shit,
You
bro.
shot a
Like,
damn single leg since you
Yeah.
were 4 years
yeah,
old.
Yeah.
Simple wins, right?
There's a story
There's a
about.
lesson
I
in
think
that,
it's.
yeah.
I think it might be Andre Agassi or something. They talk about his tennis story and how he was, and how he had, like, dropped to, like, not in the rankings, nowhere. Nobody thought he was gonna
Twice,
do
yeah.
anything. Yeah. And he went back and he said, the one thing I did is I just stopped trying to do all the extra dumb shit. He just forgot about everything, just went back to a basic game.
Yeah,
And now he won the world. He's like,
I forget at what stage of career. I remember seeing this too.
It was late,
He
too.
climbed up to number one in the world, won
And
some
fell.
majors, and then he didn't just fall. He fell all the way out of the rankings.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things that, like, if I'm in that position, I was like, gee, I got to do something. That's one of those things where I go home to my dad, come on, man, get me right. You know what I mean? And just go back to the drawing board. You know what I mean? That's what he did. And he finished out his career.
yeah. And I can resonate with
Amazingly.
that. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's feel like I kind of find everything and take a little motivation from it. So when I see a story like that, or when I hear your story like that, I make it on myself, my own story. Like, you know what, man? I was number 5 in the world, had a bad slump, went fucking down, and now what? Just stop doing all the extra shit that you were doing, because
You feel
that's
me?
what happened.
You feel me?
Because that's literally what happened. Like, extra shit outside of the gym I was doing, and like, no, just stick to the game plan. Just be fucking boring. Go back, do nothing. Just get back to what got you there. What got you there? Oh my God, wrestling got me there, didn't it?
Not boring,
You
no.
used to wrestle? No, I mean
I know,
boring
I
as in
know,
like
I know.
as in like being home and not doing shit,
yeah,
and not
yeah,
being
yeah.
in the
Yeah,
streets.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that life. And then like wrestling is what got me into the UFC. I wrestled all through the Ultimate Fighter and everything. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I just start fucking wrestling again. How about that? And I slowly, Jordan walks in the gym. Oh, perfect. Now I got a main training partner to make me wrestle, So, and work on the little details. And that's a big thing that you've helped me in my career, bro. And I'm so appreciative of that.
No, I see it too. As a coach, I see it. I think that's a very valuable relationship too.
Well, I appreciate you teaching me how to get punched.
I'm trying.
Well, again, you're talking about like performance. I can relate to that, and I think about times in my career where I was making things way too complex, and you drive yourself crazy. And I think what you do when it comes to execution, you end up working to a point where you end up paralyzing yourself mentally.
Yeah.
Right. So whenever we're able to dumb things down a little bit and stick to what we're good at, when I find myself kind of in that space, what I found is I would pull shit, technique, wrestling move out of my ass that I'd never done before. Because I think, not necessarily finding that zone, but being in that space physically and mentally where you shut everything off and you allow your body just to work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then good things just happen. Whenever you're on your feet and you're moving and you're sticking and you're bouncing with that front hand and front foot, you're very good. But whenever you don't do that, you're not very good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So let's put Jordan in the hot seat real quick. Hot seat. Let's create a little conflict. Favorite cowboy? Do I want to go? John don't count because he was your coach. John don't count because he was your coach. So. Are we doing favorite cowboy or best Oklahoma State cowboy, in your opinion?
I don't know.
Let's go with best. I think we should go with best.
I don't know that many Cowboys.
So John's out of it.
John, we can't.
What about Mo?
We can't pick John.
Mo?
Wow.
You got a whole roster to pull from.
If I'm biased.
Come on, man.
Me and DC together are 6-0. So
Yeah,
anytime DC's been coaching me, we're undefeated.
Man, I wish you'd have picked anyone else but Daniel Cormier.
I like DC, but to be honest, like one of my favorite wrestlers when I was there and in the room, and he was great on the mat too. He just, for some reason, he never punched through. Tyrone Lewis was so good. This dude would call shots in the room.
I heard
He'd be
about
wrestling
that.
anybody.
I heard that about him.
Don't matter who came in. It could be the world team member. He'd be like, yo, about to hit him with an outside step. Everybody in the room would look. He'd be like, check it. Boom.
That's why when I came through, old boy moved down to 165. I'm like, you stay over there.
He don't want no problems. But he was good. And there's so much. Like, if you want to go back in the history.
Hey, didn't I ask this fool for a name besides John Smith? He being too diplomatic.
He gave you one name.
Okay, I'm gonna say
Tyrone Williams, right?
If we're gonna say the Utaki, right? He was killed.
Oh, you digging back in the record books here. I like that call.
Utaki, right? Utaki.
But he can't call you out.
Well, he can't call me out. But
safe pick.
He can. He's still there. He still comes around. But
Utaki's
legendary.
At the time, he was he went to nationals and was in college. You can only wrestle 3. You can only wrestle for 3 national titles. And at the time, he went and won 3 national titles, went undefeated, and then won the Olympic gold medal.
They wouldn't let you do 4?
It wasn't 4 at the time.
Oh, okay.
You can only do 3. So at the time, he was wrestling.
Isn't it 4 years of school always?
It might have been 4 years of school. You can only
I mean, we're going back, right? We're going back.
Yeah, like way back.
We're way back. We're going back before,
but he was
we got our generation got so dumb. We had an extra year of school. Like, nah, y'all dumbasses need another year of school.
Yeah, so he kind of was the original. If you look at what Kale did, he kind of basically did what Kale did, but he just didn't have the extra year to do 4 national titles instead.
How you say his first name?
Yujiro.
Yujiro. That's what I was gonna say.
Japanese guy.
Yujiro Utaki. Yeah.
You don't really see that many like great Asian wrestlers.
I tell you what, don't tie that to that Japanese women's team.
Yeah,
that Japanese women's team.
Yeah,
it might. It might be one of the best teams in the world, actually.
Really?
Even compared to the male Russia, I think. I mean,
bet
they're dominant.
But they're all just
dominant.
like little and cute. Just slamming it. Pull up that team.
Yeah,
Pull up that Japanese women's
Hey, they can
team.
go, man.
Yeah,
They can go.
Let me see if I can find me a
the-
wife out of there.
Japan just in general, like their movement and like, just detailed to the little positions.
You think they study more, calculate everything, like
Yeah,
little
Perhaps.
mathematicians in their wrestling?
Yeah, but just like they're very good with spacing. They're very slick, right? They control space really well, and they keep you on the outside, and they're very, very slick. Even looking
Yeah, they're
back
slippery. Yeah.
to Utaki, and you go to 2012. There's this dude named Yanomitsu, right? He won the gold medal in 2012, 66 kilos. Long story short, you know where he trains? Penn State. Penn State's had him since 2012, right? One of his main shots was ankle pick, right? He hits a pick and then a sweep at the same time. Utaki was the originator of it. It's almost like a low double.
Wait. Let's
I don't know if I
rephrase
can
that.
do that.
So you're going from the collar tie, ankle pick, right?
Yes, he's
Release the head, sink to sweep single.
No, he's going collar tie. He's going far side, backhand, ankle pick. So
Wait. Cross.
No.
Okay, good.
So it's almost So at the time, a lot of guys weren't lefty, right? Even if you watch John, when he shot his low single, it was righty to righty. So John was really shooting a dart, misdirection low single. Nobody really picked up on. Right. Utaki did the same thing. He would hit you. He'd pick you here, and then sweep you at the same time. So he'd go pick and
Head
sweep.
and the knee. Oh, okay.
I see.
Okay.
Pick this way and
variation
sweep that
of
way.
it.
So you just dropped and then run.
Yeah, he go pick and then sweep.
Yeah.
So a variation of it, Stieber does it all the time. But Stieber darts at a low double and then runs that angle.
Head and the knee.
But if you look at the Penn State guys right now, Zane Rutherford is number one shot.
It's all pressure release. Yeah.
Same side. Works a lot with Yamamitsu, right? You have some of these new guys like the 25-pounder that they're all grabbing and they're all catching the outside leg to either pull in or they catch the outside leg, he circles out, and then they swing them. And then they sit them down on their butt.
Where's their head going?
Head goes to that. It's almost like a swing single. So really your head should be, right, if you're swinging up and into them. But since they have this side with the ankle or the knee and they're collapsing it, it's almost like their head's going off and posting on the mat and they're circling it.
Yeah, when you're flying. Yeah.
Right? It's technically.
We'll put the breakdown on Discord.
Yeah.
Coach G. Jones, MMA Wrestling, we'll break that low single.
Shout out.
Yep. So
Holla.
technically, it's wrong. Every coach will tell you don't take your head to the offside when you're finishing. Basically, kind of that double leg feel.
Yeah.
Right, because that
another
heavy
evolution
hip,
of it.
Yeah, right. If you don't know what you're doing, that heavy hip's going to crash you over.
And then he's just gonna have it easy go
Right.
around, right?
Right.
But that's one of Japan's, like, if you look at a lot of the guys at Japan, they're either hitting a pick to the swing, even Otagoro, right? The Olympic champ from 2021. He's hitting kind of the same thing. They're working angles, spacing, and then they're hitting you on both sides. Either he's going grab and making you spin, and then he's hitting you with a swing, or he's grabbing and sticking you in. You're trying to raise up and work into him, and he's swinging far side.
When's the tournament start?
Oh, we heating up.
Like a week?
We
2
heating
weeks?
up. We got the Big 12s this weekend.
Big 12's coming, and
You know,
NCAAs
I told you
19.
in honor of
19.
March Madness.
Ooh,
F that
see what you
basketball
did
stuff.
there. March
F that
Madness.
basketball stuff. Yesterday I had asked Jordan to wear an Oklahoma State Cowboys shirt because I was wearing mine, but I
Your
only have
Oklahoma
one,
State?
so I couldn't represent your Big 12 rival West Virginia Mountaineers.
Listen.
But Big 12's going on this weekend. Anyone gonna give Okie State a run? I don't even know who the second best team would be there. Oh, Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Iowa State, yeah.
And they got a pretty solid team. You never know how
No, conference time too. Guys
hands
rise
out
up. Yeah.
guys head to head, but Iowa State got a really, really good team.
Iowa
You
State
know,
is a
with
good team. What do they rank?
Carr
You know?
and Chittum and I want to say top 10. They got to be top 10. They
Who's
got
picked to
Mosquito.
win? Who's going to win the tournament? Team-wise.
Is Penn State that far and above everyone else this year? I don't know. I haven't been tracking that much.
I mean, Penn State's just dominant, right? If you got Carter,
What they beat Iowa by this year? You know,
I think it was like 22-9.
Is that little light-skinned
Yeah.
kid with the afro still there?
Roman.
Yeah.
He just qualified for Mexico.
Yeah, Olympics.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
He just qualified to
He
Olympics.
was talking about fighting too. When we met him in Vegas for a little bit, he was still talking about fighting.
He's always been
Coming up.
kind of flirting around a bunch of MMA.
He's,
I
he
shouldn't say
can
it like that.
fucking
But
wrestle. That little motherfucker wrestle.
That
Yeah.
dude got some moves.
I see him pop up in MMA
he's
gyms online all the
skilled.
time.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
real skillful.
No,
man.
I love watching that dude wrestle, and again, to the point, that's one of those kids that just like the skill that he acquired at such a young age was amazing.
Yeah.
But what do we have coming up here, Michael Johnson? What we got? We got you.
My
We
guy,
got
my guy ready to
Bellator.
make it 2-0. They got your opponent yet?
Not yet. I just talked to them. Actually, I talked to management today. They told me they didn't have an opponent yet, but doesn't matter.
No, man. I don't think that many people will be signed up to fight you just because of your wrestling credentials. And I don't like this new style of MMA. I don't like the new school of it because these
Talk
guys
about it.
don't want to fight.
It's bullshit.
They don't want to fight. Who? Jordan Oliver? Oh, he's 1-0? Oh, yeah, I'll fight him. Let me look him up real quick. They go to Google. They type your fucking name in. I see all your wrestling shit. No, I don't want to fight him. Let's pick
It
somebody
should not
else.
be so hard to build an MMA career. At that-
Nowadays, it is. It's very tough.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying it shouldn't be so
Yeah.
hard that it's to build an MMA career, and it's just like there's no honor to the game whatsoever at that level. You know, you're lucky to get someone to sign the contract. And then you're lucky to get them to show up. Then you're lucky to get them to make weight.
Yeah.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
if-
It's just
If people are saying no, they honestly need to be like penalized or something. Like I shouldn't really. He's not even in the UFC anymore. But Joe Silva was our matchmaker way back when, like before Sean Shep and everything. And he was a strict guy, you know. But he's like, hey, I make these fucking fights for a reason, you know. Joe Silva calls you, gives you a fight. Let a motherfucker say no, or let me pick somebody else. Joseph, okay, we'll call you back.
you better dust that resume
I
off. huh?
guarantee you won't hear from that motherfucker for at least 8 months. Boy, like, no, like you just said no to this fight. Like, no, you're not. No, why, like he's looking at her like, why would I call you? You're saying no. Like I need people that want to fight, and fighters in that game is just kind of slowly went away now. I don't know what it is.
And I'm new, but just perspective from the outside, right? You have those guys that have been able to pick and choose and make their way to the title, right? So what tells the majority of the guys, okay, you can't say no and pick and choose and make your way to the title.
There's no
Yeah.
easy way.
Yeah,
Right? But
very
as
true,
an
man.
ultimate competitor, ultimate athlete, I'm like, dude, I want to fight the best every
Best of the
dang
best.
time because
What are you
it's
gonna lose?
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
He
Maybe.
was better than me anyway.
But I need to learn, and if you want to be the best at something, why are you going to be scared to fight the top guys, right? In wrestling, I wish you would have gave me the number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Early.
Back to
Early
back
in the
to back to
tournament.
back.
Get
Let me
that shit
take
out the
them
way.
off.
Yeah.
Let me knock them all off just to point at all y'all and be like, what'd y'all say? I told you.
Yeah.
Right? And it's almost like the same attitude here. It's like, of course, I got to get my bearings under me, and there's a lot I need to learn. But at the end of the day, it's almost like my first fight. Like I looked at Sean and Dieter, and I was like, and even you, I'm like, guys, I know I'm very technical, but technique's gonna go out the window here.
Nah, sometimes you gotta fight.
I'm just
man.
gonna get the W.
Fight. It's a fight.
Yeah,
Like,
we're just gonna
the
get the
technique will come when it needs to come. Like,
But that's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, it's like you should always. I'm not in this for the long run. I'm in this to be the best and prove I'm the best, win a belt to myself, and then if it comes to prove people wrong, awesome.
yeah.
But I want to keep challenging myself. If I'm not here to challenge myself, then what am I doing? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure. We had Darian Caldwell on a while ago, another national champ wrestler. And I've known DC for a good number of years. You know, a really good guy. He said one of the smartest things I've ever heard him say, let alone everything. I was like, damn, DC, for real? Like, he goes, and it made so much sense, and it set home to me. He goes, I always told this to myself, if I can't beat this guy, then how the fuck am I going to beat the guy that's holding the belt? Or how am I going to beat that national champ if I can't beat this dude that I got to go wrestle or I got to fight now? Right. And That it makes sense, Definitely, that's a great mindset to have. But he was 110% right. Like, yeah, this dude might not be as good as me, but if I can't beat him, then what's that say about me? Like, I don't deserve that top spot if I can't get past these guys.
Right.
So I want to fight the best of the best. Like, let me beat these guys so I can know to myself that I deserve to fight for the belt or the title, and I'm gonna go get it because I beat everybody.
Earn, not given.
Yeah,
Earn, not
yeah,
given.
and that's what a lot of people kind of stray away from in MMA, I think.
And it's been allowed a little bit though, right? Some matchups and guys.
No, a
putting
lot of
matchups.
it. Oh, it's allowed for sure. It's a popularity contest now, and it's fucking disgusting.
A lot of these fighters, as I said before, they want to get there the easiest way possible. What they don't understand, that it never works. You will be exposed.
Yeah.
And you're going to go ask to the back of the line. Earn, not given, like you said, was well put.
I always say to a bunch of these guys, it's like, oh yeah, I'm 5-6-0. Of course I'm gonna get to the UFC. I've been look at them, bro. You've been fighting a bunch of tomato cans. You fought nobody tough. You're gonna get to the UFC with a 10-1 record and get destroyed.
They want to get there, not stay there.
Yeah,
That's what's happening.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get there with your nice little 10-1 record, or maybe 10-0 record, and you're gonna fight somebody that's been in the UFC with like a 1-3 record or a 1-2 record.
Yeah.
You gotta beat the brakes off of you.
With that being said, kind of in that same area, I would be curious to see how many of these contender series guys make it to their second contract.
Yeah, that's a good number. I'm willing to
I'm
research
curious.
in that.
I'm curious.
I don't think it's very high. I wouldn't think. I mean, you
Yeah, I
got
don't
a
know.
guy like O'Malley, which is, I mean, he came from the contender
You
series.
forget how long the contender series has been around too. It's been around
Yeah, that's
longer
what,
than
like,
I remember.
like O'Malley,
like
Jamal.
to me, it's new. But if I see when it was, I
Yeah.
don't even remember. But when I see when it was, I'd be like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
Jamal Hill. That's two champs that have came from that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely they're pulling skill from it. They're pulling great guys from it. But that's right. Like, how are they gonna stay in it? Not
Yeah.
fighting the best.
You see it. That's almost
It comes
like
out in the wash.
some of the guys. You see some of the fighters. They're almost complacent just to get there. And once they're there, they're like, oh, I'm a
fuck
UFC
that.
No, that's it. I say,
like,
and you
what?
say I fought in the UFC for the next 40 years of your life.
Yeah, like no, motherfucker. Like,
I participated.
yeah, no. If I'm in it and I see all these motherfuckers get this shit up, I'm doing the same. Like, nah, I'm not leaving until I get mine, bro. Like, everybody's getting it. I'm getting mine. Please believe it. Like this, we're gonna be here for a while. If I don't have it now, fucking tuck in, bro.
You're comfortable, dog.
Yup.
That's like Oklahoma State wrestling. We used to have people come on the team just to get the gear, and then 2 weeks later they quit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
quit.
Oh yeah.
But you see him out rocking the gear, telling
Oh,
everybody
yeah,
they're
wrestling.
wrestlers. You're like, what?
Yeah,
He
right.
quit after the second day. Bro, he got the sweatshirt and the jumpsuit, and he was out.
You didn't make September.
We had this dude in our team at Springfield Fight Club, bro. Like back when I first started, and it was like all this dude wanted to do was walk around town to telling people that he's a fighter and we're fighters. Like we got in the group, we fighters, we don't do that. And the real fighters be in the back, like, shut the fuck up, dog. Don't nobody need to know we're anything.
I know, right?
Like, yeah, he's like, we fighters, we don't need to do all this. And we be in the back like, nah, he's the fighter.
Nah, go ahead,
bro.
dog.
Yeah, go ahead and do your thing, bro.
Stop lying, Mike. You know you was the one out front. Yeah, motherfucker.
Believe it or not, I promise you, bro.
It's my little French bulldog, Michael Johnson.
But I never start shit. I've never started anything.
You're lying.
I don't
we
back
hear you in the room every
As
day.
much
I
shit as
don't
you
back
talk-
away from anything.
As much shit as you talk,
I'm
you
talking-
gonna tell me you never started an altercation.
No, full blown altercation, like where we're getting violent. I don't start those. I don't stray away from them.
think?
I
You're
egg
lying
them
to your
on.
friends, bro.
No,
J.O.,
bro.
what you
I'm
think?
like the guy that
You're
like
lying
throws
to family
something
right
at you
now.
that just keeps going. So like if I'm okay. So here's for.
Oh, so
one
you
example.
poke 'em. You
One,
keep
yeah,
poking
of
'em.
course, but I
Oh,
don't
so you're
start
starting it. You
No,
started
they
it.
started, and I'm not gonna let them off the hook. It's like, oh, motherfucker, I got you now. It's like, no, we're gonna fight.
This fool out here claiming self-defense already.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I gotta play it. So I gotta make them hit me first. Like I can't hit them first, so I gotta do shit to do that.
I don't know.
Like knock off their hat
You
while
hit
they
me
in front
first.
of
No,
their
you hit me
girlfriend.
first. You
Yeah,
hit me.
it's like
We need to just have like a secret recording of Mike in the room one day and just put it on the podcast. You'd be
I
like,
talk shit.
Do you think Mike talks
Of
shit
course.
and starts it?
I talk
I
shit.
think you out. What the kids say? You out here capping, telling me you ain't never started a fight, man. I don't believe that shit.
Now if I wanted to fight somebody, then I would start it.
You don't need to be rolling
Figure
around
out
the
a
streets
way.
no more anyway,
Nah,
man. You
man,
a
ain't
grown
nothing
ass
good
man,
in the streets. I
dog.
shoot people in the streets. Fuck that.
I'm not even saying that.
As opposed to fighting, I'm not fighting,
Rolling around, ripping your
motherfuckers.
blue jeans and shit.
Nah,
man.
yeah, the concrete hurts, bro. Hey, I'm too old to be fighting in the street. Do that shit, bro. Fucking my hand up and everything. Like, I can't remember the last time I got into a street fight. When was the last street fight you had?
College.
Yeah, college.
College, that's
You
it.
probably ain't never been in a fight, have you?
Probably not since college.
Yeah.
College is it.
Yeah,
Really?
probably not since college. Yeah.
I didn't even fight. I didn't even get in. I got into one fight because my brother made me fight.
There are a few.
One time in New York, some kid was trying to clown me, and Josh was like, my brother was like, I'm gonna give you one option. He goes, you can go up there and handle your business, or I'm gonna beat your fucking ass when you come back down here. He goes, either way, you're gonna have to fight me. So either you go fight him and win, or I'm gonna beat your ass. And my aunt looked at me. Let's go. We going up the hill.
Said it.
That's
That was
funny.
it. Handle business. That was it. My brother was like, good.
I don't know.
Let's go.
I just feel like there's very, very, very few reasons for me as a grown ass man at 40 years old to be rolling
well,
around
we're too
in the
old.
streets.
We're too
right?
old to street
You know
fight
what
now.
mean?
But
Yeah,
I think everybody needs to get into a fight at least one time in their life.
yeah, that's
It's
easy.
street fight, not
If you-
or
I mean,
organized fight.
If you're living even a decent life, that should be inevitable, right?
Yeah, at some
I
point.
mean,
you'll
like
get
if
to a
you're
fight,
if you're a young man or young boy, and boys play tough and boys play rough, and they can be emotional, and some are stronger and want to prove it to other people.
Yeah.
I think
get into it.
It's gonna happen.
Because I used to get my
Yeah.
ass whooped as a kid. Like
Yeah.
my cousins
'Cause
used
you
to
was
beat
an
me
asshole.
up.
That's why.
No, I was a
Oh.
punk as a kid,
That's
bro.
what I said.
My cousins used to beat me up. Like the cats in the hood used to beat me up. I used to run out of the corner and play, and they used to steal my water guns and shit. So I'm like, bro, like,
You wait, I'm gonna go to my car.
yeah, wait. And now, fast forward like 15, 20 years later, I'm like, man, fuck, go back into the hood and mop all y'all asses.
that
Boy,
one
like,
time?
yeah, you
You
still
remember that
yeah,
one
you still
time?
got my water gun, don't you, motherfucker?
Yeah, run that.
Remember that.
Yeah, let me get my shit back, bro.
I'm at
Grandmama
that
gave me
level.
that chain.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get at that perky level where I'm talking shit to my brother. I'm like, wait until I come home, dog. Wait until I come home. My brother can scrap. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
that was been a thing with me and my brother, bro. He's always been huge, always been way bigger than me. He used to beat my ass when I was a kid.
that
Like,
was the only person to beat me.
violent. I couldn't do nothing to him. I smacked him with a mirror one day because we got into it over nothing. Like, we got into it because he was trying to say my feet stunk or something. I argued with him, bye. We just get into a fight. Shit breaks out of nowhere, bro. We both got tempers. Smacked his ass with one of those little stand-up mirrors. He beat the shit out of me, but I was like...
I was the more hit and run. I'd hit
Yeah.
either
But
run
the house
or
ain't that big, so I ain't got nowhere to run, bro. The house ain't that big, bro.
I know.
You get caught in the corner quick.
lock in the bathroom.
My sister used to whoop my ass.
My sister used to
Straight
whip
up.
mine too.
I
bro.
ain't even gonna front. Marita Jones, my nemesis. That's my dog though, growing up. But back in high school, I shouldn't say high school, like 9th, 10th grade, she whooped she dressed my shit up like this, going over for the fucking school bus. It was one of those mornings you don't feel like getting up. You got your hoodie up. It's cold up north and shit like that. We're walking by each other. And like we just kind of bump into each other, not on purpose like this. And it was like two dogs in the street. We didn't say shit. We just jumped at each other. So she pinned me up by the neck against the wall like this. You play too much, Rita.
Get off me.
You play too much. But
The shits are violent, bro. Brother, you little brother? No, you're the middle, right?
I'm in the middle, but she was a grade but 2 years older than me. And like I said, I was a 103 pound freshman. And she had to clear physical advantage. There was nothing at that moment. There was nothing I could do to protect myself.
Yeah, the little brother's always getting beat up. I got beat up by everybody.
But she was such more mature too, you know.
Yeah.
My brother did a good job of he only gave me ass whoopings. And if somebody else wanted to try to give me an ass whooping, he'd be like, nah. You gonna have to go.
That's
teenager.
cool. The big brother. That's a good big brother thing. Mine was the same.
You know,
way.
it
Yeah.
could borderline reckless, but it's a good quality. That's a good quality.
It's like I can do whatever. I got my big brother,
Let's
bro.
ride,
Who you
say
got,
less.
right?
Let's
Yeah, it's
ride,
like, who you
man.
got, bro?
See, I was too small to ever do that. There was one time.
I don't think they understand how little and how long you were so little for.
Yeah.
103.
I wasn't 103, bro. My freshman year, I was 88 pounds. When
What?
I hit high school, bro, I could not even see through the halls. Like, I had some of the wrestlers. One of the wrestlers was Zach Pizarro, 189 pounder. My first day in high school, bro.
You weren't carried on the shoulders. Don't say that, Jordan.
No.
Please don't.
I
Say
walk
that.
in, it wasn't even on the
He
shoulders.
It was like a
Carried
baby.
you like a little
They
baby.
picked me up under my armpits and did this in the hallway. And I'm standing there floating with my book bag on. I'm like, bro, put me down. Put me down. I see my brother. My brother's like, yo, put him down.
Get your
bro.
ass down, man.
Put me down. I'm walking in the hall. I'm 88 pounds. I'm
What
like,
you
low key.
your senior year? You what? Finished at high school? 19?
18.
No, what weight class?
Oh, 35. No, 30.
Did you get that big?
I wrestled 35 for most of it, and then I
That
went
big. I wouldn't
30
consider
for the
that
team
that
for
big.
state.
You
But from 103 to
88
130,
pounds.
yeah, 88 pounds in 3 years. So yeah.
yeah.
So were you good your freshman year at high school?
Yeah, I mean, I was ranked number 2 in the country.
Oh, okay.
The number 1 rank was the kid that beat me in state finals.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as long as you were good at
Ma-
that little.
Matthew Kyler,
Matt Kyler.
Fairfield.
He had
kid.
something tricky. What was it?
He just had.
He went to Penn State, right?
He was Army. He
Oh,
went
yeah.
All
Matt
American
Kyler.
for
yeah.
Army. The dude was just persistent on a dang single leg, and he was just so big. But he was just he would stay great position, and he got the 2 single legs and finished it, and I got the 3 single legs and didn't finish any of them. So
4'2"?
Well, you were 88 pounds and he was 103. So
well,
so much bigger
state
than
finals he was like $120,
Yeah.
$119.
What year was that for him?
That was senior.
He was a 103-pound senior?
Yep.
Yeah, see. That's not
103.
even fair. I don't care how scared you are.
We made fun of the 103 pounder in high school. Like, bro,
My
what?
dog probably had a mustache.
I was little Jordan.
He was
bro.
88 pounds. Mustache.
You had a
That
mustache?
that same name he calls me, they called me in school. They'd be like, "Hey, Jordy."
Yeah. I called him too. I called him all the time just to mess with him.
So you had to be good at wrestling. You had to
Yeah.
get good and mean because you were too
I was
little.
too small.
Yeah. See?
I think that's why my like style developed, because I was so small that I had to be slick.
yeah.
And even to this day, if I shoot, I hate getting caught underneath. Like, I'm like claustrophobic in there. Like, when I get caught in front heads,
Make your ass keep wrestling.
lip
That can go
out.
either way. You can
Yep.
freeze or you could, yeah.
So I got so good in
Yeah.
position and shooting angles, so I couldn't get caught underneath.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you had to figure out ways to survive in your high school room.
For sure.
And that's where all that shit developed that without you even realizing it probably.
Yeah.
You know?
Didn't even know. And then finally, when I started understanding like the higher level wrestling and spacing and stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of already doing this, right? And understanding.
Yeah.
And John kind of was like, you're doing this and don't even know,
Right.
right?
Right. I think things stick better when it's acquired like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's more ingrained.
It's almost
I feel
like now, like when you're yelling at me in the room, like, yo, don't think.
This work, yeah.
That's my biggest pet peeve. I gotta yell this motherfucker every second because I can see it. I can see it. They're
You
like,
used to see him
he goes
processing
from this,
information.
he fucking starts tensing up like I'm trying to think of what to do.
Yeah.
And by the time you got it figured out, you getting
It's
hit
gone.
or
It's
or
gone, yeah.
something or it's gone. It's like you can't. You got to think to something else. That's why I always say it's just like wrestling. Everything. I'm like preaching to the choir, bro. Just like stop thinking and react. Like your body knows what it needs to do.
And that's where it comes down to, like, even when on the outside, like, G. Jones is like, yo, stick to jab, keep it simple. Stick to your wrestling. Level change, and all of a sudden, me simplifying stuff, that's when I start feeling better in my spine,
Yeah.
right? As soon as I just start level changing, showing wrestling, and not necessarily having to crush people, but making them respect my wrestling and tagging them, keeping them at bay to take down, or whatever it might be. But
I think that's it.
going back to what we said,
That's
simplicity.
yeah, no, that's very, very well said. And I had an additional point, but it escaped me, so I apologize.
It's one thing I told you, like if I had your wrestling degree and don't take this from me, like don't do this, I would do nothing but wrestle. I wouldn't even throw a punch. I would just literally, I would move around, bro, grab somebody's leg and put their ass down and look at
There's
them.
definitely ways to make a fight easy on
Right,
yourself, right?
right, yeah. Look at him
right,
and say, get up, do something. You know, if they get up, fine.
sure.
I take their ass back down again, bro. And it's the same shit. And I would make them reset to me. I would make them figure it out. I'd be like, I ain't trying to fucking. They'd be like, you don't never punch. I don't need to, bro. I fucking take you down and just hold you and choke you or something. And then all that will start coming to play.
Yes,
All of it will catch
yes.
up, bro. That's what I promise you. Just fucking take people down and slam them in their head and hold them. This shit's frustrating.
For sure.
It's fucking. I was pissed off today. I couldn't get up. I was like, man, get this motherfucker
bro,
off
we'll
me,
talk.
man.
No,
But at the flip side, right, being like a competitor of my nature and wanting to come and dominate and win, right? How do you? I've wrestled for so long that, you know, this is the battle I'm in now, where man, I need to get the jiu-jitsu down, the striking down.
But
You need to wrestle.
look what you just said.
Not down
You want
to-
to dominate and do everything in a certain way. What's
I don't
more
need
dominant
to
than your wrestling?
outstrike you or out jiu-jitsu or grapple with you, right? But I need to understand it and be able to be comfortable with accepting it when it's coming, right? So the reason, like, for me, and I'm thinking a lot, is because I'm standing and moving, but I'm thinking, you know, of ways to maneuver, but what I could be doing, right? Because if I can get comfortable, let's just say I'm never going to outstrike you, right? But if I can get comfortable enough to where I can manage your striking, keep you at big, keep you at space, that's a win for me,
Yeah.
right? So,
By using your wrestling.
yes.
Yeah.
But also, also
Because if I know you're gonna shoot at me, I'm not rushing you no more, bro.
I think it's
and,
like
and you
give and
keep me
take.
at bay.
yeah.
I think what you see is in that same regard that oftentimes it's obviously good wrestling is effective, but that I don't know what fuck. That's kind of a good one. Edit that shit out. Edit that shit
Well, the
out.
perception is right.
So what I was gonna say was a lot of times the threat of the wrestling is even more effective than the wrestling itself.
Yep.
So not only will it make you
Yeah.
a better striker and just naturally open your striking up, but I can lead a whole entire dance just making him think wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
right.
Like, fucking all the pump fakes and everything. I would never come forward if I was all thinking about your wrestling. And then I just, and you fuck around and throw it overhand. Yeah, you know, it's good. But Jordan, thank you so much. Really appreciate for you coming in, checking us out on Menace's mic. April 16th, 19th.
Bro, I'm not coming back on this podcast.
April 19th.
Nah, I
Maybe you ain't
appreciate
gonna
it,
be
brother.
invited.
I love it.
Well, that stood us
Yeah,
up twice.
I
and
know,
late
right?
Once, 3 strikes.
Exactly.
dog.
This
But thank you
motherfucker-
for coming.
I've been trying to get him on the podcast 3 times, and he been giving me bullshit. But thank you for coming. April 19th.
He came reluctantly.
Bellator MMA, Jordan Oliver's second fight. Opponent unknown right now. GJ.
Hollow.
Check him out on Discord.
Hey, I
And-
appreciate y'all allowing me to come on here.
No
Speak
problem.
about
Thank
my,
you.
my
Thank you,
story
brother.
a little bit, but I'll be back. Don't listen to this, man. I'll be back here pretty soon.
Get Biofuel, Face Meets Fist, Impact Dental Designs. Thank you guys always for helping this show out. Check you guys next week. You look at this camera. I keep
Shout out
looking at the
Sid Gordon.
screen.
Shout out Holla Holla.
What up?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to listen up to